Hey there, my siblings. This is Mo, and we are beyond excited to share some amazing news with you. The More Sibyl podcast has been nominated for not one, but 2 ABBA awards. We are up for the Diaspora Podcast of the Year again. If you remember, we are currently the current champions, and we've also been nominated in another category, Personal and Self-Development Podcast of the Year. What? And this is all thanks to your incredible support. We are absolutely buzzing with excitement and need your help bringing these awards home. Voting is now live and open. We need every one of you to please cast your votes. It's super easy. Just head to ABBA Awards. We're going to put the website link on this show note for this episode on our Instagram bio as well. Find the More Sibyl podcast in those 2 nominated categories, Diaspora Podcast of the Year and the Personal/Self-Development Podcast. And then click that vote button. But hurry, the voting deadline is coming up fast, so make sure you get your votes by the 16th of August, 2024. Remember, you can vote every day with as many email addresses you have, and every single vote will make a difference. So please feel free to spread the word and get your friends and families involved too. Thank you for being such an incredible part of our journey. Your support means the whole world to us. Let's do this together and make some podcast history. The button link will be in the show notes on our Instagram bio and also on the website, www.moreSibyl.com. Thank you and keep rocking with the More Sibyl podcast. I remain your host, Mo. Now enjoy the show. But it's nice to have you back on the podcast.
Yeah, nice to see you here. I see your name, Mo Adedipe.
Oh, calm down. Calm down. Don't get too excited. Oh my gosh, like you have the idea just so. Anyways, welcome back to the podcast. For those who are just joining us for the first time, welcome. This is Mo, and today I have my wonderful friend here, Olabimpe. Bimpe.
That's me.
Bam, kiddies. Back on the podcast. If you guys are not familiar with the dynamic you have getting today, well, you're in for a treat because we're gonna laugh. Bimpe is my very good friend, and she's one of those people that can really get me out of my element sometimes. And today we're gonna be talking about 2 important things. They're kind of connected.
Yeah.
So, for those that didn't know, I became drum roll. Bring the shekere and the drum and the trumpet. Your girl became a U.S. citizen in January.
That's right.
After 13 whole years.
Yes, my sister.
Hey, Lord is God.
Girl, welcome to the club.
Girl, I mean, you know the story now. Where should we start from? Man, America will humble. It will humble you.
Yeah,
you shall be humbled, but we just thank God that everything.
Yeah, America is a leveler.
Man, and this is just trying to do it the right way, no coconut.
Oh, of course. We're not talking about trying to do it the mago way.
I know.
Trying to go the right
beats sleeping at night without like that heaviness on your heart. I don't know how people do it.
I honestly don't know.
I really don't know how to do it. And I sympathize. I'm not here to judge anybody, but I don't know how to do it.
No, not at all.
Yeah. I don't know how you do it.
The things that people go through to get papers here in the US, it's so sad.
And I use this word, careful. Even while being legal, the stress, the immigration stress, gone through in this country. So I don't know how people that are still trying to do it, on their runs and going through the fast way. And I mean, how do you guys do it? I wish the system.
I can't relate.
I wish the system. I know it's okay. You can acknowledge your privilege, which we're going to talk about today. Your privilege, American. So how many years has it been for you? Like since I know it's more than 13 years because
no.
That you've been a citizen.
So you have to stay for 5 years.
No, it's more than 13 years ago you became a citizen. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, hold on. 2012.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was just a year after I got here. Okay, so 12 years ago.
Yeah.
You're privileged American. But I mean, it's good, Sha. I think there's a way God enables all of us, because imagine having to go through all of that with everything you've gone through. Right?
Yeah, It doesn't matter. Yeah. You won't allow more than we can bear to come on us. Yeah.
So, for those who are curious, 13 years, came here in 2011, was on a student visa for about 5 years. Did the whole 5-6 years on a student visa. Luckily for me, after a student visa, you get on what you call OPT, which is like your optional practicum training. If you're on a STEM program, you can have up to 3 years where you can look for a job and work. So that will have extended my timeline by another 3 years. But I went straight from an F1 to a H1B.
What is that?
So I went from a student visa to a working visa. I didn't even have any transition in between. God did that for me.
I see what you're saying. Yes. So that's your testimony. Okay,
that's with the 13 years old. Imagine if I had gone on OPT, my green card, whatever, would have been, my whole journey would have been 16 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, so how did you transition from that? How did you have that direct
it was just
transition?
God. So let me just backtrack. I would link that episode because we talked about our green card. So while I was in grad school, I filed for a green card, right?
Okay.
Which was more for my spouse because he was trying to match into residency as a physician, and realized that him having a green card or even something that's similar, that resembles it through like a work authorization card and all that, would help his chances of getting into residency. So I filed for a green card while I was in grad school, using my papers, my national reputation, yada yada, that I've already gathered, the small reputation I had then.
Oh, that's the whole story about that lawyer.
Girl, BM in Maryland, girl. So, because by virtue of doing that, I was no longer going to be eligible for any immigrant visa again. So, but we knew that going in. But you won't believe that incident, even though it felt like it was the end of the world, when the news came back that our green card application was denied. August 26, 2016, I can never forget that moment. I felt like the world should just swallow me because this is my husband that we've been trying to, get into residency. He finally got a spot. Because we filed concurrently, meaning we filed and then they sent the card at the same time. So it was that card that was able to apply for residency. He had started only for us to go and tell the employer that, by the way, we need to withdraw that card because the case that it was predicated on has been denied. They now said they were not threatening to kick him out of residency. You say, how? Residency that took us how many matches to get into? So all of that, so when I found my when I was interviewing, I knew that whoever ended up hiring me, I wasn't going to be doing them a favor. It was going to be two-way streets. That I was very confident in who I was as an international student because I'm pausing here to just say that, anyone listening to this, if you're in the job market, always remember that you also bring something, and I hate to say to the table. Yes. Don't always feel like, your employer is doing you a favor. Your skills, your personality, everything, package yourself. Yes. So I wasn't going to do anything that would make them feel like, 5 years a slave. So when I was talking to my prospective employers, I told them, hey, I need a green card like yesterday. I was very, very forthcoming, I told them that I need a green card like yesterday. Here's why. My husband, blah, 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 blah. And so if we're going to start this job thing, it needs to be part of the package deal. And funny enough, a lot of them, bit into it. One in particular was telling me that I have to stay in their company for 5 years, which for me was a red flag. Now, in most places, it might be the norm. But for me, I'm like, no, I don't want to tie myself down. I would work for you for as long as I want. But the fact they are putting that as a condition.
Yeah, putting that, on the table straight up. Like, that's
but please, this is my own role. Doesn't mean, I'm not saying this is for everybody. For me, I just didn't like the way the conversation. And there were some other things that were said that made it seem like, okay, this is going to be more
just not a good offer for you.
Yes. So I turned it down. So when it came to University of Oklahoma, and I'll give them credit for this, people talk about universities, especially, red states, that, they're not very immigrant friendly. Please don't listen to those narratives or ask those questions. Propose what you want. If they don't want to help you, that's fine. But don't go, if I listened to what some of the things I was hearing, like, Oklahoma, no, they will never, do that. They became my number one. As a matter of fact, I stayed home for a month because they processed my H1, which is a worker's visa. In a month, in actually 2 weeks, they did premium processing because by virtue of them being a state university. So I got my H1B from an F1 right away. It's almost unheard of because you go from F1 to OPT. That's like the normal transition. As a matter of fact, most employers want you to use your OPT before you start doing H1B. But they invested in me. The moment I started my job, before I even started my job, they had put me through the legal team. They started putting all of my documentation together. It was just a matter of me starting the job. Yeah. And then within a year, we got our green card. Because I started in 2017, March. We got our green card in November 2017.
That was just God.
When I went to go and meet the lawyer, Bimpe, to say, by the way, I want to come and see you, the lawyer that was doing the case for us. When I went to meet her, she said, for me to have even come that quickly, that she was just so sure that something bad had happened with the green card application, that there was no way they would have been approved that quickly. And so it was sometime in November. So, they had I think I remember going to Sam's and maybe Costco to buy like a bouquet, I was well taught by my mother, you don't go empty-handed to the home of your benefactor.
Right.
I'm here to thank you so much. Not only did you listen to me when I was asking, I was very forthcoming about the issues in my husband's, you listened to me, you provided feedback, because I'd not even signed the employment letter. So they didn't, all the attention I was getting then. By the way, our green card application was approved. Not only that, the person that was in approving us told us that he doesn't do this, but because of us, we've done so much for the United States. He was going to fast track our card to come in within a week. That I just came to thank you. She said it was so unbelievable. That people that she had even filed for like a year, and this was when it was taking like 2 years. Not now that we're having crazy backlogs. People are still waiting. That she was so shocked that when I told her that yes, we went for an interview and it went well. So was on a green card in 2018. So, and then only a green card because we came through employer, not by marriage. Marriage will take 3 years to start applying for citizenship. So by November of 2023, 5 years later, we were eligible for citizenship. My dear, I did not wait. You are eligible. If you go to the USCIS, you are eligible to start filing 90 days before. So tell me, August 21st, 2023.
You put it in.
N400, I just started filling it out. Now, the most stressful part of it was they wanted my travel history for the past 5 years because, you're not supposed to be out of the country.
You travel a lot. Yeah.
I'll put Google Photos. So for anybody listening to this, because my passport, I had so many passport booklets that I've gone through. Passport can be quite not very intuitive because sometimes the stamps are just one way. They will stamp you on one page.
Yeah.
I'll put Google Photos. And the repeating trips, because I was always circling Mexico. You think maybe I was one drug pusher. I'm not a drug pusher, by the way. I just like going to Mexico because my husband, did residency around there. We have friends there and our favorite resort is there. Yeah. So anyways, the travel was a stressful bit because I wanted to account for everything. So I submitted mine in August. Myself and Taiwo submitted at the same time. But because, even though we submitted at the same time, they actually treated our case separately. Because by that November, I got an email scheduling me for my interview in January. Hey, and when you get that interview, you have to do 100 questions, civic questions about the US government.
But if you go through a few and you pass those,
you have 10 questions. They ask you 10 questions, right? If you pass the first 6, they don't ask you the next one. But you have to read through the 100 because you never know what they're going to ask.
I know. You just never know.
Now, if you are more than 65 and you have limited English or so, they might skip it for you. So, anyways, find out all those rules. But that exam was the easiest exam ever. In fact, I still know all of the answers to the questions because I was so happy. I knew all of them because
be there.
The branches of government. How many name the cabinet level. I know so many things, but learning about the history of this country again because I was taking it for my citizenship. I was like, if you like, tell me the exam 5 times, I would do it. I would gladly do it. So Ty was a little bit worried that why are they not calling me yet? Anyways, I had my interview in January and I remember going there and the guy just sat me down. It was made me, take an oath, like everything you say, blah, blah, blah. Then it was like, my goodness, look at your binder. You have so much, tell me about yourself. I told him. And then, started asking me the questions and then they'll ask you to read a line to be able to check your literacy level and then write something down. And then it goes, that's it. And then you turn in your green card. I was like, that's it. It's like, yes, congratulations. Is this me? I remember just walking to my car like, this is me? Now.
This is how a U.S. citizen walks to a car.
Girl. And they even ask you that, have you ever in your life claimed to be a U.S. citizen? Say, no. No.
Say what?
No, I've never. They say, if you, would you?
Yeah, because some people have been denied because of that. I have a client.
Don't do that.
I'm not sure why. And then he went to vote. I'm
sure some sanctuary states, because Taiwo, when he was in New Mexico, when he was applying for his driver's license, they were going to put him to be, because some sanctuary states actually allow you to vote.
Well, that worked against my client at the time, so...
Do not do it. Do not even collect government benefits. They will know.
Yeah.
Government benefits, don't collect them.
I will find you. Yeah. I should be counsel. I should put money. And they will find it.
Are you willing to bear arms? I say, where's the arm? I will bear. Where we go? You denounce your citizenship, Nigeria. Who Nigeria help? Wait. I will. Yes, now you have to give up your... The US doesn't recognize dual citizenship.
Sorry, I don't want to put anything out there.
No, yeah, girl, they don't recognize dual citizenship. On your Nigerian part, luckily for you, can keep, because in India and South Korea, you can't have two nationalities.
I know even about China. China would not let you.
Even I think Russia allows. Anyways.
But if you have a government job, you have to. Like for me, I would not be able to go to Nigeria without a visa if I was working for the government. Because my Sam is like that. When he goes to Ghana, he cannot. He has to, even if he's a Ghanaian, he has to get a visa to go to Ghana. So yeah.
But I think that for like high security clearance jobs, you have to give up.
Right, not more so. Like that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So tell me why. Okay, I'm not gonna say too much because I'm still exploring that side. But there was a portion of when I was filling out my form, there was a little question: would you like to do a name change? I clicked it. Now it wasn't like a spur of the moment. I've been having this conviction in my spirit for a while. This is the part that I'm not going to go into details because it's not for everybody. But I knew that it was time for me to do a name change. So my name has always been Motolani Eniola Ogunsoya, and I love that name. MEO, that's always been my name. Oh, it was so beautiful while I was in high school. I wasn't first, I wasn't last. I was just end of the O's. No, it was like way over the middle. Like people could go first. I didn't care. So that was good. And then I just liked my name. And when I got married, of course, your husband wants to take your dad last name as a Nigerian man. That was his hope. But I didn't want to change my name because everybody had asked about why we're doing it. It just boiled down to cultural reasons. And if you consider it, before the Englishmen came and colonized us, Nigerian women never changed their last name. Did you know that? Yoruba women never need to change their last name. They kept their names. Yes. It's an effect of colonization. So it's like, what is the reason for changing my name again? Like, I've already clipped to this person. I've left my father's house. I don't want to change my name. And then my professional identity, my personal identity, my publications, my work. So anyway, I clicked on that. Now, because I did that when I did my application, I had to go for my swearing in at a court. Which was, actually, my interview was done in November, sorry. But I couldn't claim to be a citizen yet until I had gone for the courts. So I told the guy, like, I'm traveling in February out of the country. And I need to be on that plane with an American passport because I'm not doing visa.
Visa application.
Can you put me on the earliest, it was court date. And I never heard back from them until maybe like 2 weeks before because I was so apprehensive. Tell me why I booked a flight to France, London, and Scotland. On faith, and I refused to. I'd actually started the visa application, but I'm like, nah, this is just too demoralizing. People cannot be stressing me out. I know what my eyes went through doing Schengen and that island visa. So, luckily for me, I got the letter, and then January I went for the swearing in. Shout out to a little bit of our friends from Oklahoma, the joy, and it was a cherry moment for me because, being an immigrant in this country, all the things you've done, all the things you've persevered to be here, all the names you've been called and the looks you've gotten and how people just always want to ascribe a different intention to you. And of course, there's been so many great things that have been affiliated to that, with that, my experience and just building life here, culminating in this very moment of your acknowledgement of what you've done to this country. I mean, being called American. I won't lie, when I raised my hand and, we took that pledge of allegiance, I was teary-eyed. And then that moment came and gone. It was when I now got my passport. Hey, girl. So, and we'll talk about some practical tips. You get a certificate of naturalization, sorry.
Yeah.
You have to book your appointment through the USPS office. And then make sure you get a good date. Me, I had to... If I was willing to drive 50 miles to get the nearest one, you can go from the courthouse straight to USPS and do your interview. And they require your original certificates. You cannot photocopy anything.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you why this was important. So I took that because my passport was the most important thing for me to get. So, and because I knew that I was working against time. At that time, they were doing 6 to 8 weeks for regular processes. I'm like,
right. So you have to expedite.
$80. Take my money. And it's such that if you don't get your passport back in 2 weeks, they refund your money. So exactly 2 weeks, I received my passport. That was the moment I just broke down. I just started crying because this blue passport, they're telling me that it has my name, my full new government name on it. Girl, that was when did I send you that video?
No. I think you did. Sorry, I think you did.
Yeah. I just, that was it. And then when I traveled, hey girl, you know what did I've learned?
There's a new confidence you have when you have the blue passport.
Like,
there's something
even
about
scanning, girl. Even scanning. You know how you want to check in by the kiosk, not by the like just the self check-in.
Yeah,
I could never do it with my Nigerian passport. You never used to read it. You had to go and see the nearest agent. Are you kidding me? Yeah, the moment I put it, just put on my new government.
The accessibility, just the
girly. You're telling me that you can read this all along?
It comes with so much ease. Like, and there's something about,
girl.
Especially when you return and then it says American citizen to this
girl.
This girl.
Wait, let's talk about returning. Yes, as I got to the London office, like the port of entry to enter into London.
Yeah.
I was ready for story because they'll ask you, how long are you staying for here for? Right. Who are you staying with? What do you do? I was ready for the spiel. Only for the guy just calling my passport. Oh, welcome. Bye.
That's it.
Was that it? I'm ready. I had a presentation. I had my PowerPoints ready.
It's something. It's the privilege. That's then you realize the capacity of that passport.
We shouldn't be doing that. Like we shouldn't. We should give people like. I get it that you treat your citizens first, but if I went, because I had to when I was in London, I took a trip to see my brother in France, right? And then they had EU citizens, France citizens, US citizens, I think China, go one side, everybody else go this other side. And I didn't have my passport. I had my and the view I'll be patting my jacket to be sure that every 5 seconds.
No demon has taken it.
No, why are you story that touches the bomb?
Next stories that touch.
Girl, I didn't have my passport on me, so the lady came, Sibyl, like I said, I'm American citizen, like are you American? I'm like, yes, I'm American, because she was trying to direct me to the non-American. I'm like, excuse me, I'm a US citizen, and that was it. And then on my way back, it was just because I also have global entry, but man, that feeling of just ease.
It's just the ease that it comes
I'm praying for anyone that's listening to this saying when we live in my I pray that it will be easy for you because man. It shouldn't be that difficult.
It's just easy.
The difference is so vast.
It's like night and day. It's like night and day. So, yep.
Oh yeah. And now because I'd sent my stuff to USPS, right? My original, you had to do everything with the processing. My university, for you to do your name change, they require you to have your social security name, number, update your information at social security office. Yeah. Social Security Office also wants they want to see original documents, which I didn't have. So now my travel card, which because I was going on my trip to Europe was business, but I had personal trip in it. I couldn't change my travel card, and so I had to wait until USPS sends that whole thing back before I could do my name change at the Social Security Office. Now having to call my banks.
It's
provider.
The stress
all the flights I had booked.
Yeah,
I had to even call the hotels I had booked my name on that.
Crazy,
girl. In fact, my trip to Europe was so bad that I had to pay a little bit more because so American airline connects through. It returns to British Airways when you are doing in London. That British from London to Scotland, that flight that was like an hour long. British Airways would not honor my name change. They had to actually rebook the flight. So I had to pay for the price difference because they had to cancel that flight. They wouldn't honor the name change, even though it was still under American Airlines. But for the most part, I think the hardest part was just keeping track of the paperwork. Then, luckily for me, I was in Chicago for a week before I flew to Europe. So I was able to go do my, because Bank of America and Wells Fargo, they don't have presence in Oklahoma.
Oh my God, really?
Girl. I had to carry that girl. Don't even ask. The whole of Oklahoma, by the way. Girl, they don't have like physical. They have like financial advisors, but it's not like a regular. And they have ATMs,
like a banking center.
Like a banking. They don't have. No, they don't have like. No, you can't just walk in and do transactions. They have drive-through ATMs, but no,
but just not a banking center where you can go into and ask questions.
Texas. I opened my account in Texas. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's true.
Yeah. No. I'm saying I had to go all the way to Texas to open my account, and the reason I'm using
Wells Fargo. Wait.
Yes, the only reason I'm using Wells Fargo is because Taiwan uses Wells Fargo. No, I've always loved bank. That was the very first bank I opened when I was in grad school. But when I moved
to Minnesota, same problem. You have to drive my Medogo, and I was like, I'm not driving that far for a bank. So yeah, now I'm with US Bank. So
well, good for you. So I had to carry all of my, because I also have my business account through Wells Fargo, all of my original documents.
So that's why
it's stressful. I forgot to even mention. Yes. It's not enough for you to change your name. They also want to know the reason behind it. So I had to be logging about my original marriage certificates.
My God.
So I had
when you're done with this process, I mean, very tedious, but when you're done with it, you're done with it.
That's what I'm saying, that if you're changing your name, that'd be make it last forever. Girl, no, I'm not touching that. I'll explain why I'm not changing that.
What are you going to do about that?
I'll talk about that in a bit. So I went to Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and then I had to do my global entry interview again. And now because I was traveling, I wanted that thing to be activated because I don't want to be doing long line.
Yeah.
So luckily for me,
like the commoners,
girl. So again, if you just got your green card, go get your global entry because it has TSA. Because I ain't roughing with the plebs. Like no, I ain't about that life, man.
Are you at who?
Girl, no, like get that global entry, get it, and then with your passport.
No, but actually, no. Because I don't have it. It works for people who travel a lot. You travel a lot.
But if you, so global entry has TSA as well. So if you travel international, locally, it's good. But if you travel,
but if you don't travel,
you don't need it. You don't need it.
You do not need. So don't listen to telling you because
if you're traveling, if you're traveling, you need it because you can miss your flight.
If you travel a lot, then you certainly need it. Yeah, but that will give you this. It will give you an extra ease.
Tell me, my colleagues almost missed their connecting flights when we got to Dallas. My colleague almost missed their connecting flight when we got to Dallas.
Because of the long line. You should have.
Meanwhile, I was waiting at lunch. Speaking of which, Taiwo got his global entry before I did. For whatever reason, I didn't want to upgrade to global entry. So apparently, this guy was giving us, every time we travel, he would follow me through the line. I didn't know how big of a deal it was until I got mine. I said, wait, dude, you gave up all of that for me. You're so nice because I could never. If I come in the back of my head, you'll see.
I heard it. You will see me rolling my two oscillating lobes.
Give me that. I'm like, oh, you love me that much. I was like, you're nice because I could never.
It's like if you travel a lot, it will certainly be to your advantage to get the global entry. It will certainly be to your advantage.
And it's 100 and something bucks for 5 years.
I guess I'm one of those commoners.
But you go to Nigeria now. When you go to Nigeria,
I do.
Just try.
So it's not like, for me, it's not worth it. If I go to Nigeria like maybe 4 times, but I'm getting there, right? Slowly getting there. So I'm thinking about it. But if I'm just going to
once you get there, you know you need it. Once you get there, you know you need it.
It's okay. Once you get there, you know you need it. Yeah, I'm certainly going to get one. Certainly. Yeah.
So back to your question about my publications, I decided to just leave it to my maiden name because there are unique identifiers that cannot change. So the Commons ID is an ID that the NIH, which is the largest biomedical research funder in the world, they give you a unique ID. You can never change the ID. And my ID is M. Ogunsoya. My publications, I have over 40 of them. I mean, it's not a lot. It's all in
That's a lot. Don't downplay it. Stop it. Stop it.
Thank you. I take it. I take my flowers. So all in Ogunsoya. So what I'm doing now, my publications remain in Ogunsoya, but professionally I've transitioned from.
So now they call you Professor Adedipe.
Adepide. What I've not heard. Adepide. Adedepe. I'm like, good God. Ogunsoya was bad enough, but Adepide, because it has a D and a P. I know it's not even DP. It's Dikpai. Like Olabimpe, so that way is
it's the imaginary K. People in our country, people struggle with it too.
I follow the pay. I'm like, walk away. So that's my preferred like grants, my name. Now my old email address, like my official work email, and my new one, they kind of link. So if you email me on my old one, it links to my new one. But but I think above all, it's just the identity
crisis that comes with it.
Yeah, but who am I?
Yeah.
Like.
But what? I'm letting go of this person, this name.
For what?
Well, not for what.
No, let's ask that for what.
Okay, no, but you said you were convinced.
Yeah, that's this is not asking about myself.
No, talk about how long you've been married for, because not everybody knows. They don't. Yeah,
13 years.
Okay.
And so it wasn't like I needed to do it. By the way, again, this is what I'm saying, that my own story is different from your story. Mine was a conviction, because there's no other way you have convinced me to change my name. There was nothing wrong with it. In fact, I loved it. Yeah. That's it. That's my full government name. But God spoke to me delicately and tenderly. And I had to repent of that pride of just holding on to my... This is my story. It might not be the same for you. I'm not trying to preach anything to anybody. And for husband, listen to this. Don't have been loading over your wives. If best person can, please do not use me as an example. Even my husband tomorrow is still asking, what made you change your name? Like you, what even made you change your name? Like, because he'd never believe I could ever. Because I'm like, no, unless it had to be God, by the way. So
and he was God.
It was God. It had to be, because what was it? It wasn't like we just got married.
Like it's not like a name that will give any extra benefits.
That's it.
Because there's some names that I would gladly take it
Gates,
on. First name and last name. I'll take it on. Okay.
Gates, Musk. What's the name of this Amazon? Bezos. Just to name a few.
And the last name.
and the middle obscure name.
Those names will open doors for you.
Girl.
Yeah, so... Yeah, and that's the thing. What's in the name?
It's powerful, though. It's powerful. Yeah, and I think it's the meaning also we ascribe to it.
About it.
Yeah, it's the meaning we ascribe to it.
It's better than silver and gold. Yeah. There's something about a name. And that's why this transition is very, very, very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, your why.
And I think it's also, I always say, there's something I told myself, like, whatever name I'm bearing, I'll always add value to it.
Right, absolutely.
And for my parents, they had no, like, my mom from day one, since I got married, she always called me Mrs. Adedepe. Like, in her mind, I'm not.
But that's who you are.
Yeah, but it's fine. So it wasn't like I was holding on to this for family values. But I'm glad that, like, my post-secondary education, my PhD is in my father's name. Because it shows all of the work they've put into there. Now I can carry this on and, do whatever I want to do with it. But that's fine. Again, the reason I changed my name was not for anything about legacy. I believe in just the work you do. Like, your name will add value. You add value to that name, but it's not necessarily in the name. Like, I don't believe that you're taking somebody's name. For me, I want to contribute to something based on my contribution. Not because of a name, I'm just relying on that name. Yeah. Like, whatever name I end up bearing, that name is going to be valued. It's going to have value because I put that value into it. So So that's what we are right now.
Heavy.
It's quite a thing. Oh, I forgot to mention this. So I volunteered for AP boards grading, high school research in Utah, and they had our names on, where we're going to be sitting. Girl, I saw my name. I was number 1 on the list. See the palpitation. I felt called out.
First.
That was when the trauma started. Like, how can I go from O to A?
To A.
I was number 1 on the list in the city of our clerks and American. My name was very Nigerian. Like, it stood out from very few of Africans were in that whole cohort, but I was number 1 on the list. I'm like, like, this is what.
Don't sign to me.
I was like, how did you cope in school? Like, asking Tido, I was like, well, you get to just do your own first and then you go and rest. I'm like, no, I'm used to.
But the thing is, in the Nigerian setting, there are other names. Even with the A, there are other letters. So it's not like I didn't put
Oh, but he was at least one of the top.
Another.
He was one of the top 5 at least. Because his matric number was 006.
Right, you're right.
Yeah.
So,
top 6.
Someone who answers
Abbas.
Or Shode.
There is the last name. But so Wemimo. So I'm just
last name. Xavier.
Yeah. So I think, again, if you're changing your name, always ask yourself why. Because there's so many things I've had to learn. Now, you have to list all the places where your name needs to be updated, right? So your social security, DMV, passport, bank, credit card.
And the thought of that could just make you give it up.
utility companies. Oh, professional licenses. I had to call my pharmacy license board to switch my name. So now I had to send in the new one and that. And then make copies of your certificate. Update your social security first. That's easier to do. Visit your bank in person because they want to see all of your new ID and legal documents. I remember American Airlines, so Southwest, they had me upload all of that into a portal. If you're making travel arrangements, you might not be able to get on board unless. So make sure you do that before your flight. Also update your frequent flyer accounts, and your hotel loyalty points. I remember because I was going to the UK and I was going to stay in Marriott, and they were telling me that my reservation with the points. I'm like, you better link it because I don't. Update your name on LinkedIn, email, professional.
It sounds tedious.
Notify your employers, HR department. If you want to inform your friends, I didn't do a social media update because that was. But anyways, always carry copies of your name. Oh, I forgot to mention this. I flew after I came. No, I had never flown out of the country there. My very first trip was to Ohio with my new name. No, but I used my old name for that one.
Oh.
Because my passport hadn't come in then. So I just used my my driver's license and all that. So but when I was going to Ohio, Albuquerque, New Mexico, I had done all my name change. I called Southwest. I had updated everything. I flew to New Mexico, Albuquerque. On my way back from Albuquerque to Houston to connect to get to Oklahoma, they didn't find me in the system. Actually, they printed my ticket. I could sign in and all that. By the time I got to the TSA checkline, the guy said my name wasn't popping up. So apparently the system hadn't updated. But I'm like, I flew with the same account. Like, what the heck is going on? So I had to be going back and forth. Luckily for me, I had my old ID card, my global entry. Because my driver's license wasn't. Otherwise, I'll have been like impersonator. So again, carry all your name documentation, name change documentation, in case you encounter any issues.
Any of those difficulties, What questions how long do you anticipate that all of this is going to be?
Give yourself a whole year.
Okay.
And then plus for just because it's still weird to be similar.
Not even the name itself on you. I mean, with reference to documentation, traveling, change how long do you...
I'm like, for this kind of inconvenience, I just like to get out of the way because otherwise it just bogs me down. What really helped was creating a list and how to conquer all of that. I had to go to Chicago because I was in Chicago already. Chicago to do my bank stuff, go to the EMV to get my new driver's license, my banks, social security. So give yourself time. So if you're also traveling, make sure that you sort all of that early. So I'll say it took me 3 months to all of that, and it's because I live in Oklahoma. Again, I didn't have all those Oklahoma. So give yourself time and plan it strategically. Start with the Social Security Office first because they don't hold on to your documents. Because I had to give the USPS.
They always send it back,
But it took them a while. It took them almost a month to send that back to me. And that really...
They're slow.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of things are backed up. So there's that. I mean, just trying to give them some grace.
Yes. And their pace are so slow.
That's indeed a number, and so many government.
I forgot to mention this part. Tell me why I went to the Social Security Office with my my marriage certificate and they wouldn't take it.
Why?
Ikoyi motishe. I told the girl.
What is that about Ikoyi?
Is that not the one that the U.S. Embassy even collects?
I recognize it. That's what I thought.
And the girl was saying, I said, ma'am, I was married 13 years ago. This is the only marriage certificate I have, and it's the original one. That's all I have. Because it's not just enough for you to bring your certificate of naturalization. They want to know what's the base of your name change.
Ma'am.
And the girl said, I'm going to go talk to my spouse. I said, go and talk to anybody you're talking to because I'm not living here today until
I get what I need.
I'm not going to Social Security office. You're waiting. People coughing and people that are there for different kind of reasons. They're like, girl, this cannot be my whole day. It's like, okay, you're so lucky. I'm like, lucky, okay. Me that already prayed. I prayed on you and your manager that you sort of
you will get it together. No.
Not me and you today.
And that's, I mean, That's the thing about encountering public offices. If you encounter someone who's not knowledgeable and who is also not willing to admit it.
So true, because I had called ahead of time and they had outlined the process. So I said, I called your hotline and this is exactly what they said to do, and I'm doing it. She's like, really? I said, yes.
But
okay, let me go talk.
Yeah, but at least the good thing is she said she will talk to someone who's above her pay grade. So
I didn't fight her. Even now that I'm sounding like I was.
You cannot because yeah.
Please, this is my second time coming here. I really want to get this done. I can get my. It's beg who beg the evildoer. For those that don't understand that proverb. So yeah, that's my story in a nutshell.
Congratulations, girlfriend. I'm super excited for you.
And I just want to say
I can only imagine how you feel. I mean, kind of living vicariously through you now. It's just, congrats. I'm excited for you.
For those times. You know what? I should give you some of your flowers because even if you had no idea about immigration, you're always willing to listen. Like when we're going through that, I remember you had even introduced your lawyer to me. I know. And you were always, even though you didn't know half of what we're going through, that's your privilege right there. But you were able to still lean in and listen. So I want to just say thank you. So you guys be like friends, have friends like Bimpe who might not even understand.
You're welcome.
A hoot about immigration, but they're able to listen and lean in and empathize and hold your hand.
Yeah. Because I remember that issue with Taiwan. My God. Girl. I was stressed out on your behalf.
Girl. And you know the pastor who introduced us to him, right?
Sorry, what did you say? I missed it. What did you say?
The pastor now, Pastor Chuka.
Yeah.
See the email I sent to him, and I see Chuka. This is your friend. Chuka he was like, nobody has ever told him that, or that this is a good friend of his. I said, of course, it's your friend. Like, if it's your friend, he's not going to show you that side. But this is our experience. And we found out many other people.
You're not the only one. This is
to Tolu, this is to Felix, this is to so many people. Right. Finding other Nigerians. So this guy has an MO.
Yeah. Like, it feels that no one will talk about it because I think that there's a shame that people just take on when these kind of things happen, that you don't pursue the evildoer. Even though he's the one in the wrong, then you carry on the shame. And
I even wrote a letter to the Maryland Bar Association. Like, I needed to report this guy. But he, as a lawyer, if you look at it, he did his job. He filed the case, right? But so ethically, they couldn't hold him. But what he did was wrong,
but the thing is now, that will make him, I'm sure it made him sit up. I'm sure that made him sit up.
He will get his comeuppance. Don't worry, in the future, he'll get
Yeah.
That's our story.
Guys, my God, he was such an idiot. And I mean, the audacity.
I mean, I was depressed.
That guy, no.
The things he would say, the things he would do.
He's avoiding like a plague.
After what he did to us, and as God will have it, when I started finding people randomly who we knew, because somebody talks about these issues.
That's what he's saying. He's like, there's a shame that people take on, like, why? He was wrong. You were not wrong.
I helped 2 people even finally get their own because I knew about the law after it happened to us. Like, you need to read about, like, once you read about the criteria, this is easy to do. You can even do it yourself. But this guy would never on a phone call. He made a lot of typo, calling me somebody else in him. No structure, almost as if we didn't even go to school. I'm like, who wrote this thing?
He's a Cameroonian, right?
Yeah, from Cameroon. So yeah, it actually taught me a lesson. Don't lose anybody because they're from Africa and you're African. And don't use them because your pastor recommended them. Never again. Never again.
I mean, and it's not to say that all Nigerians. I mean, because we are very competent. I mean, actually, it's not even Nigerian. So please,
no, Africans are competent people. I'm just saying that don't be blinded by that similarities in culture and shared experiences that you overlook their competence. If you want if you want something based out of competence, then judge them for their competence.
Right.
Like, the chemistry should be there, fine. But I would choose competence over chemistry because chemistry we can always make it.
Who chemistry help?
Chemistry help, yeah. So that's just my.
But I'm glad that you're here telling your story.
Thank you.
There's a beauty in that.
Thank you so much. Those that are listening, don't despair, please. America has a way of just swallowing you and making you forget who you are. But please, I hope you don't lose hope. I hope you keep fighting. I hope you retain your sanity. And please don't be quiet. Don't Like one thing that's really helped me is being able to have community, like being able to talk to them about what you're going through. Like you need people around you. Don't keep it inside. Don't keep it inside. Don't live life alone. Find trusted people around you. There might not be many, but it's worth having that fellowship with people. Let them embrace you. Let them carry your burden. It makes life easier. Trust me, there are people you can trust. So yeah, that's my.
I think there's this this thing around immigration. So people are always quick to tell you, don't ask. You know, that it might put people on the spot, and I get it. So I have never, it's not something I go around asking people. One time I did ask the question,
and it was
I felt like, oh my God, the earth to just open up and swallow me, because the person.
It's okay. You weren't doing it in a malicious way.
No, I wasn't. But it was just the person's reaction. Almost like, how dare you? Kind of, I was like, oh God, shouldn't papi have that. That was like a faux pas. Yeah. But anyway, if you're in that situation, I don't know what to say, but I can't tell you not to go and do what some people are doing.
I have no, I don't even know how to do it. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
But find ways to take care of yourself, your mental health, your emotional health.
Yes. If you're
don't accept less than. Like even as someone who went through the right path, there were some times I felt less than. Because the weight of this immigration stress weighing on you. Yeah. And it shouldn't be. We're talking about someone that has 2 advanced degrees from the US and you're doing stuff, but then it feels like you're not appreciated. And I can't even imagine if you're trying to even be less than, in the sense of you have doctors doing jobs or someone that is well competent doing other underhanded jobs because they can't rise up here because they don't have the right papers. So there's already situations around you that make you already feel less than.
Yeah.
Please don't stay less than. Okay? Remember that it's just temporary. I don't know how you're working to get it. I'm not going to speak to that, I will speak with grace because, again, whatever makes people do that kind of thing, I don't support it, but I understand it, right?
Yeah.
So we can acknowledge that there's some level of desperation and stress that comes with it, but then it's also a system that feels like it's really against you. So however you're doing it, I don't know how you do, but I just want you to prioritize yourself and don't stay less than. Yeah.
And for people who are not in the US yet and who are considering Japa, I would encourage people to think about it deeply, because I don't think people realize how tedious or how stressful living in America as an illegal person. You may come with money, loads of it, you will run out of it fast. And the people who promised heaven and earth, they will drop you like hot potato, and they will not mean to. It's just, I don't know, but just think about it well before you, take that leap and be sure that you're willing to. There are consequences for these actions. And then there are really, really terrible stories out there of people who went through the route of marrying someone to get papers, and then they were abused. And at the end of the day, they still didn't get the papers. Someone I know went to jail, so it's very, traumatic for some people. So if you're going to do it, I encourage people not to. I always say to people, if you're going to come to America, try and come as a student, or at least find someone you love, and then let the person
who loves you back. Important. So person has got to love you back, and it's not dangling.
Let the person love you back.
It's not dangling green card in front of you like Angela and what's the other boy's name? Sorry, guys, name Michael.
Well, so like they don't trick you into a marriage of convenience or without your permission. So if you're going to be in that kind of situation, you need to get the memo. You need to be a part of the people who created the memo, right? So so just think about it. I would say come as a student. That'll be just the thing I'll say.
Yeah. And if you overstay your welcome, engage the service of a lawyer. Usually they will charge you. There's like a free consultation.
Yeah.
What to do, how to make yourself look like. The sooner you can square that away, maybe even going from a visitors to a school. Like school route is the longest. Is it? I think Nigerians, have 3 master's degree and one PhD.
I think people think that Nigerians are so smart. No, it's what they want to say.
USA is making us smarter. Because being a student, at least you're able to like.
So after one master's, then they don't find a way around
immigration issues.
They do another master's. I mean, I can't mention this. I have a friend who has, how many does she have? 2, and then she went to pharmacy school, and then she had to get a second master's after. I mean, a third master's after.
3 masters?
Yes.
Oh, God.
3 masters, a doctorate degree. Yeah.
And with the student loans, though.
Student loans, my dear. Student loans.
These prices are so steep. We're talking about the financial aspect, the emotional, the mental aspect. I had a friend, she said, because she stayed here for a while, at the point she just had to go back home. She said every time she saw a cop car. No.
I'm sorry, it's not funny.
No,
she
but
stop palpitating.
Yes. So every time she saw a man in uniform, like even when one day the FedEx officer came to drop a mail for her, you know, they wear uniform and all that. She almost fainted. They were in front of her apartment. She thought they had come to carry her.
Oh, poor lady.
And she was living in New York. So anytime there's siren or anything like that, her heart is always doing
And New York is so noisy.
She moved back to Nigeria. She's like, she couldn't take it anymore.
It's like, no, this is not worth it. And that's what I say to anyone. It's just the stress of trying to stay in the U.S. without the right papers. It's not worth it for some people at the end of the day. Yeah, it's not.
Somebody that left their family back home, and because, you know, the wife and the kids couldn't come here. And I think they had the second child was maybe newly born then. By the time he went back home, the baby didn't want to have anything to do with him. They didn't even recognize him.
Yeah.
Like, just didn't want to be held by the father. That made him just, he left the country. He said he wasn't going to do that.
No, this is not worth it.
Kids were not.
And so what do you, I mean, I know Nigeria right now. I mean, the world at large, but specifically Nigeria, like, it's tough.
I don't know. So that's
really
why I say I cannot be
for people who want to transition home, and I know this is not your cup of tea.
Ministry. Yeah, no, I care about issues like this, but I feel like I'm so ill-equipped to give advice because what do I know? But what was your question? Let's see if we can tackle it together.
Yeah, so for people who want to like transition back home, by back home I mean Nigeria specifically.
Why?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Your question is why. So if they feel like they're being led or pulled in that direction, they just want to go home and create things and like me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Those people are needed. Those people are needed. Don't mind me. I'm just being.
It's just.
I mean, know the zone very well. Like, even though you have been called and all that, and I feel like if you've been called and let do that, there's always grace. But very wise. Don't be foolish.
Yeah, make sure that you have all your ducks in a row before you take that kind of thing. And then maybe do it gradually.
Yes. Gradually phases. Yes. Again, we are all learning differently. Some people might say you have to go in a deep blood.
And just jump in.
Where are you going to be living? Where are you going to be staying? And your networking really matters back home.
It does. Right? In Nigeria, yes, absolutely. Yes,
because the kind of living are so different, right? And the savvy, the know-howness that you have in the US might not be very applicable.
It won't carry over.
So make sure you're willing to co-construct with people that are back home, like especially the key opinion leaders in the field they are trying to work with.
And make sure that you have people that will support you.
And care about you.
If shit hits the fan, because
now you go from someone that's bringing the bacon, someone that is maybe asking for bacon for a while until when things settle down. Because depending on your situation, you might be going back and almost having to start afresh. So again, don't do it blindly. Do it from a place of knowledge and keep your network both ways. Because chances are you're able to have the flow.
People are jackpying back to Nigeria. People are jackpying out of Nigeria.
Exactly. Oh man, do you think you can ever move back to Nigeria?
Do I think I can ever?
I know you want to.
I am going to. I'm gonna be a citizen of both, like literally. That's my plan.
All right.
It's scary because of the insecurities in Nigeria. So many things are so unstable. But yeah, I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how. I'm putting plans in place, things I can do. I know you've always said that.
I just admire you. It's just that I don't know how. I don't think it's feasible for me anymore. Like, I used to know that dream about 10 years ago, and I remember always telling time, we gotta go back. But man, every time I go back,
but the thing is, you don't have to go back and return. Like, I know. You're still here and there. That's what I mean by you're gonna be a global citizen. Like, West Africa. You travel.
I get that. But when I think about going back, I feel like going back. But my work actually covers. Like, I still do work with Black men from Nigeria and all that. So I'm still having some impact on my motherland. It's
right.
Mm-hmm. My physical,
you're doing your part.
My physical presence will be missed. Yeah. But man, there's.
So even me that said, I want to go back, right? So I don't see, how some people go back and they don't look back. That's not what I see. I see myself shuffling between So again, how it's going to unfold, I honestly don't know. But I'm taking steps. I'm doing what I can to ensure that I have the capacity to do that. Yep.
But man, I mean,
Yep.
13 years a slave, so not a slave, chicken. 13 years.
But
it felt short and fast.
Compared to other people, though, you've had it good, Tolani, if we are being frank.
I would thank God.
Yes.
I can see that part. The good times were really good, but
it was still very stressful, of course, because I was there. Right, so
God's grace.
Even at that, Tolani.
God's grace, God, I know.
I've heard some horror stories.
Girl, I know. I
want to live in America. I've heard some horror stories.
I know. And this is why I'm saying that don't let man know your level of desperation. The moment your level of desperation is shown.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
they have that upper hand. Immigration issue is very in this country. It is
telling this regime like this, the way it's become so politicized. It's a hot ticket topic. Immigration, healthcare, taxes. Those are the things to talk about. You
don't want to just be having that kind of conversation with just random people and talking about things. Yeah.
And then the question is, what are your intentions? Are you going to fix it? No. So it becomes like you're being a bit voyeuristic about it, which is what I'm. Yeah. And so for all the privileged Americans, for your immigrant friends, how can you support them? Really is asking them, how can I support you? So questions like, are you going back home or anything like that? I remember then when I was in grad school, like my small group then, who were mostly white Americans, they had no idea the scope of the problem. Even all these alphabets, F1, they had no clue what but knowing the distress we were going through, they wrapped their arms around us, prayed for us, and for me, that was support in itself because they had no idea. Well, I mean, so again, it could be prayers, it could just be lending and listening here, or maybe connecting them to a very good immigration lawyer, or even seeing how you can sponsor some of them, maybe through their jobs or helping them with maybe housing them for a while.
And sometimes, because I know I've said to at least 2 friends, have you considered going back? I know I have.
I know.
No, I have.
Really?
Because I was part of their journey.
That's you being coming from a place of privilege.
No. I can't say. I can't talk about some things here. I'm not Black American.
Sorry, you privileged African American.
I'm not African American. I'm African. No. Again, I cannot go into details.
Don't go into the details, but
for me to have gone to the point where we got to that point,
you felt like it was unnecessary.
Yes, unnecessary. Gone. No, seriously though, like
have we adopted necessary as a term?
Yeah. No, we got to the point where because we had considered all other options.
Okay.
And the person had tried.
Did they end up going back?
No, the person stayed, and it was very turbulent, and people were not willing to help that person after they said, "Chikomalole, but at least go and rest." But I mean,
how are they doing now? Are they good now?
You will know.
Are they doing good now?
Yeah, they're fine now. Yeah, they're fine now. So I still think they would have done better if they had gone home. And so which brings me to the topic of your destiny is not attached to America. And I know that. You say I'm a privileged person, that's why
you can acknowledge that. You can say 2 things at the same time. 2 things can be true at the same time. You can be privileged and still say that. Acknowledge it. But I
don't think I would have come to America if I didn't think I could come legally.
That's you, Sha. Me too. I know for me. That's me. That's me.
If I'm not going to come as a student, why would I visit a place and like Waha?
Because I've heard stories. Even when I was in Nigeria, I was hearing stories. We had family friends that they couldn't come back for 20 years.
No, their parents passed on. Yeah. They couldn't come for the funeral.
I'm talking about our parents' sets, like, like family friends. Whose wife and kids were here in Nigeria, right. But they always sending stuff, but they were never there for their kids.
They could not calm down. You think that you're so restricted in a land that is flowing with milk and honey. It's right there by you, but you cannot access it. That's the highest level of torture. I personally would not.
And so, my quality of life, especially wellness, and being able to thrive in my ecosystem, I prioritize that over anything else. Plus, also the uncertainty of the legality of it. Like, for me, it's like, so there's so much.
I may come across as, yeah, I personally would just not. It's not a choice that I would have taken. And it's not a choice I would advise anyone I love dearly to take. I would tell you, go this route. If you want to go the other route, you can. It's your choice at the end of the day. But
yeah, and that's why it's so hard to advise people, because I'm like,
because they will call you bad belly now. No,
you've already got in
America.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? However, I can support you, because I know friends who went through it, illegally, and
don't call me because I cannot help.
They can call. It's just that there's only so much I can.
They can call me with restriction because.
But there's not much I can do. I would support
there's
you.
There's only so much I can do.
But I'm still your friend. It doesn't make me look at you less than.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but there's only so much I can. I'm not going to
look at you like you're less than. But
I'm useless in terms of the advice I can give you, because.
Yeah.
Like when it came to it, when we realized that our green card application was denied, I was gonna be good because my standing was good, but with Taiwo, with his job and all that,
school and all.
I was ready to go back. If it came to going back, because I wasn't gonna leave my husband here and thrive. And this was someone that had given up so much for me to go to grad school, and so I knew that I wanted to make sure that he was good as well. So that's why when I was finding a job, I considered his well-being. I was very forthcoming, because you having a job, I could have used my OPT 3 years. It was a natural order of things, but I was very vocal that my husband needs it. And for me to stay in this job, my husband has to do well. And I want to thank my friend Jolene from Nicaragua. She was the one that helped me with that language. She's like, tell them. And she was a lawyer. So she's like, tell your employer, like, worst case scenario, they will say no, but it's very good for you to be forthcoming. So you're not just taking the job because you want them to file. Let them know right away. If they don't want you, they don't want you.
So it's a yes or a no at that point.
Yeah. If they don't want you, then you don't want to be working for someone that won't even want to support you. Let's see how supportive they can be. If you're telling them that your well-being,
money where your mouth is.
Your well-being ties, your husband's well-being and your well-being are together.
It's tied together. Yeah.
So if they really want you this shiny up there, then they should take your husband with you. After all, when they hire people, sometimes they can even find
go over and above.
But their spouses, because they want them to stay. It's part of the retention, package.
Plan.
So don't be afraid for prospective job seekers. Don't be afraid to lay your cards on the table.
It's okay to ask make a big ask.
And if they say they are withdrawing the offer because of that,
fine.
You don't want to be working for those kind of companies anyway. So they will be actually making your job easier. But that's my experience, and I'm glad we can take this from here. And it doesn't change what I've been doing for this country. Even as an immigrant, I've never looked at the US as, I'm not going to pay you guys until you give me the green. No. Again, I've always been someone that wherever I am, I want to put value on it. So I'm not doing anything different as an American citizen now. Maybe the only things I can sing the Star Spangled Banner and really mean it, and I can pledge allegiance, but everything else is the same. I've always been contributing value to this
law-abiding citizen. Well,
I'll keep doing that. As God helping me. Because people try me these days, but I'm not going to chill. I will keep adding value to this country because it's giving me so much. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Excited for what's to come. I don't know. Other than travel, I'm not. Of course, there are privileges that come with being an American citizen. You can vote.
You can write a letter to your congressman.
That was one of the things I really...
You can run for office. I can't become president. You can run for office if you want to.
It's nice.
I'm going to be voting in November, actually, and I'm kind of excited. But although there's 2 candidates, I'm like, God, what is going on?
I know. Like,
did you watch the devil on the... Huh? I'm like, the first year I became an American, you guys are there. We're disgracing ourselves like this. Girl. It was a colossal train wreck.
I refuse to watch.
It's like I'm just gonna go to the ballot and just press one. What you want to press? That's because ain't looking good. And one is looking worse than the other, and the other one is like, do you want to really support this person? He's like, yeah, don't make me.
So now you're looking at policies. You have to look at their stand on some social issues and all of that. So it's
what's a command sense?
I'm not just do it emotionally.
Yes.
Because if you do it emotionally, we definitely do not want to go with the other, who. Yeah. But there are things to consider. So yeah. But it is well.
Yeah, God help us.
It is well. So lovely seeing your face and your hair really grown. And your skin. It's lighter. I'm looking darker than you. Oh no, I
think it's the light. It's the light. How?
No. Let's give credit to work credit. Let's give you the due credit.
I think it's the coloring. Really? It be popping?
Yeah, you cannot see. Yeah, it's popping.
You turn on like that. I'll see the like
Yeah. It's not much.
Anyways, this was it, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode with my good friend Olabimpe. And if you're in Nigeria, go check out her business. You want to talk about your business a little bit?
I do. I guess.
The one, yeah, Bimskitties.
Yeah.
Anyone
so
wants
yes,
to like
we
finally
finally
put you on the spot, but this is your free ad. You should be paying me for this.
I know, right? I should pay you for this. Thanks for doing this, Solani. I know you don't have to. You don't have to, but I really appreciate you doing this. So yes, Bimskitties recently relocated to a new location. So before now, we were over 20 at Joseph Street in Mendy, Maryland, Lagos. But now we've moved to number 5, Igi Olugbe Street. It's in Shomolu Bariga. And Bimskitties we have a sister store. It's Jordan's Boca.
Hey, already.
Please stop by at the Olugbe Street. The name of the business is Jolade's Boca. We call it JB for short.
Not to be confused with BJ, by the way.
Huh?
I said not to be confused with BJ. Sorry, I was just being facetious.
I know. Girl, no.
What do you serve?
There's a whole story behind that BJ name. Have I told you about that before? No? Oh, girl, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Anyway, so number 5.
What do you serve? Yeah, what do you serve?
We sell amala, rice, beans. We sell swallows. And right now we also we're now about to launch our soup. So if you don't want to cook at home, if you're single, you're married, it don't matter. Just stop by.
We got you.
Bowl. Yes, we got you. Pick up a bowl of soup. We have a goosey soup. We're gonna have a goosey soup. Ogbono. We're gonna have even a wedu. If you want to buy a wedu or gbegiri, even at that. So
nice.
We have a 2-liter option for you. Yes, a 4 roll. We're gonna have all of that. So yes, please come one, come all. Yes.
So there you have it.
Yes.
Congrats, girl, on launching.
Thank you.
Expansion all the way.
I know it feels a bit surreal. We just launched like 2 months ago, so yeah.
Congrats. So yeah, go visit our girl's store and support her. And thanks so much for coming on the podcast today and supporting through this topic. I remember when I was like, I need to talk about this. Since January, when I realized that things were moving smoothly, I was like, I got to do an episode about this topic. These are important issues to cover. Who can I talk to about them? So,
thanks for the privilege. I do not take it for granted.
No, thank you. I think it goes both ways. Thank you so much for everything. And so share this episode with your friends as well, and let us know if you have additional questions for us. This has been the Most Sibyl podcast with Mo, and catch you guys on another episode.
Mo Adedipe. Let's be specific.
Bro, that's my government name. Sibyl for now, okay? You wouldn't even call him this name.
They're gonna keep calling you
Just stop. Just call me Mo.
It's gonna take a bit of adjustment.
Just call me Bob.
Mo.
Yes,
anyway, thanks so much for inviting me on your podcast again. Always a privilege. Always, a good time.
Sure.
Yeah, so now let me tell you about that name, BJ.